What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more post-fight talk. Want to talk about Deontay Wilder versus Malik Scott, and a lot of people are throwing this out there saying, "Oh, it was a fixed fight and this and that." I think some of you guys are fixed fucking fans. I mean, I'm just getting tired of this fixed fight nonsense. And keep in mind, I'm not a naive person. I'm not gullible. I understand boxing is a very corrupt sport, has no governing body, and they're not doing anything to fix it. Plus, you look at other sports, some people do like performance enhancing drugs or whatever, they get banned for life. But boxing, you see guys who do steroids like Orlando Salido or whoever, and they get to come back to boxing, or Andre Berto, whoever, and they come back. So we know boxing can be corrupt. But I'm just sick of different fans every single week. It's a fix. It's some kind of commotion, some kind of conspiracy theory. Last week it was Canelo Angulo. Oh, Angulo didn't look the same. He didn't even try. How the fuck you know he didn't try? Maybe he was just getting pulverized and didn't really have the ability to adapt from the hellacious body shots and punches he was taking. But people last week were like, "Oh, Angulo, he didn't even try like he did just because he had more success with Laura, who you think is a better fighter or has more movement or a different style that should trouble him." Who knows? Sometimes people have better training camps. Sometimes they have worse training camps. Sometimes they have things on their mind. Maybe he had to kill himself to make weight. Who knows? Who the fuck knows? But everything is not a fucking conspiracy or Tony Weeks stopping the fight. They were like, "Oh, it's premature stoppage." Tony Weeks. I can understand if it was a close fight, but Angulo lost every fucking round. So Tony Weeks stopping, I think it was premature only in the sense of you stopped at a point where there's just one shot, so it was bad timing, if anything. But Canelo was clearly winning the fight, clearly dominating the fight, kind of like Mikey Garcia versus Orlando Salido. Mikey Garcia handily had the fight won. He was dominating the fight. It looked like Salido was coming on. Then the unnecessary headbutt happened, and it broke his nose, and the fight was stopped. But you can't say it's a robbery because your whole argument is based on a what if. What if Angulo was able to do something in those last championship rounds and Canelo was getting tired? What if Orlando Salido was going to shine in those championship rounds? Everything's a what if. We have to base it off what we did see. And like I said, I'm just tired of this fixed fight bullshit. Every single fight, everything's a fix. Everything's a conspiracy theory. I went on my page and some people were even commenting saying Canelo threw the fight with Mayweather, and it was a fixed fight in that because he looked so good against Angulo, and he didn't even try against Mayweather because it was a fix. Now, I agree he didn't look the same against Mayweather as Angulo, but you got to look at it. Fucking Angulo and Mayweather are two different fighters. Angulo's slow as fuck, slow as molasses. Floyd is quick as fuck, and he's seasoned and he's veteran. And the fight took place at a catch weight. There's all kinds of differences in that fight. So we know Floyd is a master chess player and uses the ring well. Angulo is just more or less a come forward warrior with punching power. So of course it's going to look like two different fights. Back to Deontay Wilder, Malik Scott. Like I said, I'm hearing, oh, it's a robbery, it's a fix, and all kinds of stuff like that. And it could, let's say it's a fix, sure, it could be a fix. I wouldn't put it past anything. You know what I mean? I've seen stranger things happen in the sport of boxing. Motherfuckers parachuting during the Riddick Bowe fight. You know what I mean? I've seen crazy stuff happen in boxing, so I wouldn't put it past anything that it could be a possibility. But as a boxing fan, I think that's a very negative way of looking. Like every single fight, it has to be some kind of conspiracy theory. And the funny thing is, as far as Deontay Wilder, you could just look at the dude and tell he looks like he's in shape. Does he not look strong to you? I mean, the motherfucker's 6'7", shredded, and looks real lean. It looks like he carries power. Plus, he's 31 for 31 KOs every single opponent. So even the Malik Scott thing or whatever, what about the other 30 opponents? You could say they're nobodies. He didn't fight nobody, whatever. They're still grown-ass men that carry a punch. They have 2 feet, 2 legs, 2 arms, 2 fists, just like Deontay Wilder. And he knocked them all out. So, I mean, I think this guy has freakish power. I think he's just one of those anomalies that was blessed with power. And we've seen it time and time again. Mike Tyson had tremendous punching power and speed that the heavyweight division wasn't used to seeing. Gennady Golovkin, another guy with crazy power. Lucas Matisse, another guy with insane power. So there's a lot of guys that just naturally carry power. And honestly, with this particular fight, I think Deontay Wilder's hook was what set things off and really fucked up Malik Scott's equilibrium. And then the second punch that was partially blocked and didn't really get through all the way, that was just like icing on the cake. I think it was a delayed reaction from Malik Scott based on that hook to the temple. And I don't know if you guys have even been in street fights, but getting punched in the fucking head, let alone the temple, is not, that's a sensitive spot for people. Like, you know what I mean? It's like a pressure point. Just like Spock on Star Trek used to do that, the Vulcan grip and like paralyzes enemies. Certain pressure points are on the human body. So I think really the hook is what did it, and people are like basing it off that straight punch that was partially blocked. I don't think that's what did it. I think, again, that was icing on the cake. That was just something else. I think it was more or less a delayed reaction. Here's a quick analogy. I remember I was wrestling with this chick I was dating, and we were just like play fighting. I was tickling her or something. Anyway, she was like trying to get me off, like, oh, stop, stop. And then like she was just wrestling, kicking her feet. So she messed up and kicked me in the nuts. And on first contact, it was just like, and I swear to you, I had a delayed reaction. Like at first I just like took it, felt like my nuts, like if you ever watch those movies where they go to the circus and there's like the strongman thing, they get the hammer and you hit the hammer on the thing and then it goes woo, all the way to the top to show how strong you are. It felt like my nuts did that. And I tell you, I shit you not, that was excruciating pain. But it was more or less a delayed reaction. The initial hit happened like boom, and I didn't just start but like a millisecond later or a couple seconds later or whatever, I was just in excruciating pain from it, and I almost killed the bitch. I felt like doing the Chris Brown, take you down, I really want to take you down. Yeah, I feel like Chris Brown in the bitch because I was like, fuck, that shit hurt. And it was a delayed reaction. So I think more or less this is kind of what happened in the Malik Scott. I truthfully thought Malik Scott would at least be able to shine. I always had that Deontay Wilder winning by stoppage, either TKO or KO. I thought it'd be more of a fight, go past the first round possibly, or at least Malik Scott would pose some problems for Deontay Wilder. But Deontay Wilder just showed that he's a monster with that power. And I see a lot of things that could be exposed with Deontay Wilder in terms of, like, sometimes he just seems like his balance is crazy. He swings wild. But this is the flip side to that coin. You have to be able to endure what the fuck he dishes out in order to exploit those weaknesses in him. So he kind of has the equalizer, which is that fucking power. When you have that crazy power. Same thing with Gennady Golovkin. I think Gennady Golovkin, obviously I'm not comparing Deontay Wilder to Golovkin because they're two different types of fighters. But I still see things in Gennady Golovkin's fight game where I'm like, okay, if I was a coach or a trainer of whoever he's fighting, I would be like, yeah, you can exploit this, do this. Like sometimes Gennady Golovkin doesn't use good head movement or whatever I see. But the downside to that is you have to endure what he dishes out and what he does well. So a lot of times for fighters with crazy power and just decent skill and accuracy or whatever, or a good amateur background like Gennady Golovkin has, then your weaknesses are overcompensated based on the fact that you do this right and overcompensated by what you do right as opposed to what you do wrong. And I think that's kind of the case with Deontay Wilder. I've seen other heavyweights that box better and have all kinds of different skill sets. They're not as wild. They're more accurate than Deontay Wilder. But one thing he has, again, is that freakish power, that scary power, where that could be a saving grace and really get him back into any fight, even if he starts going the distance. I just really want to see somebody deal with his power and get him into deep water, see how he looks in the 7th round. What's his stamina like? What's his chin like from another big puncher? So there's still questions out. The jury's still out with some things like that. And the only thing that's going to answer those questions is experience, time on the job, and him taking better competition in terms of his fights. But I really thought Malik Scott would be able to do something. Again, it doesn't look like the punch should have affected Malik Scott the way it did, but I said the same exact thing in the Luis Collazo versus Victor Ortiz fight. In that fight, Victor Ortiz was knocked down in the second round. It was a good shot, I admit that. But to me, his eyes looked clear. It looked like Victor Ortiz is a strong dude and an athletic dude. It looked like he was training hard. So to me, it looked like Victor Ortiz should be able to get up from that. I think I've seen him take more hellacious shots from Marcos Maidana or whoever, and he got back up from him. But then he fought Luis Collazo, and he didn't get up for whatever reason. So it's like I said, from the outside looking in, of course it's going to look one way, like that punch shouldn't have affected Malik Scott like that. Victor Ortiz can get up, but you're not the one in there. You're not the one enduring that. For Victor Ortiz, possibly being out of the sport so long and filming The Expendables, Dancing with the Stars, having that ring rust, maybe he didn't have the desire to get back up after he got rocked. Maybe he's just like, damn, this shit is not for me. And you know what I mean? Had that ring rust, so he didn't have that heart in him to do it. Same thing with Malik Scott. Maybe he just felt that early power and just didn't want no more. I don't know. I'm not here. I just want to see some of you guys get punched in the fucking head with 10-ounce gloves from Deontay Wilder. See how you take that punch and see how you endure it with your equilibrium, your legs, and your head feel like after he punches you upside the fucking head. Because a lot of you guys are just quick to revert to that fixed fight bullshit. Oh, it's a fixed fight. It had to be. Again, I think the left hook is really what sent him to the canvas, and his legs looked like they were shot after that. Another fight, if you guys know your boxing, George Foreman versus Michael Moorer. Now, Michael Moorer was getting in that ass. He was completely beating George Foreman. And out of nowhere, George Foreman threw some punches, and one of the punches landed. And I shit you not, I'm going to try to find the clip. George Foreman threw a punch that connected with Michael Moorer, and it looked like he pushed him. It looked like he had no force behind it. It wasn't like, you know what I mean? Like when certain fighters hit you, like a Pacquiao or Mayweather, it might look really good and flashy because they have speed behind it. But George Foreman, I swear to you, watch the Michael Moorer fight. If I find it, I'll try to put it on my Instagram. The Deontay Wilder Malik Scott knockout is on my Instagram. That's boxing at Boxing Ego. So check that out, and I'll try to get these clips up. But anyway, George Foreman, it looked like a pity pat punch against Michael Moorer, and it knocked Michael Moorer the fuck out. But if you know your boxing, you know George Foreman was known for his power. He was fucking the heavy bag up. He was leaving dents in it, and I mean, he's a powerful dude. To this day, I guarantee you, if you seen George Foreman at a boxing event and you were talking shit and he swung on you, most of you guys typing would not be able to get back up. They say power is the last thing to go. So, I mean, power is power, and I think that's really what it is with Deontay Wilder. You're getting hit with 10-ounce gloves. You could try to block partially, but see how you respond to that. That's all I can say. Let me know what you guys think. What's next for Deontay Wilder? Really, I just want to see him keep going through the ranks, keep going with stiffer competition. Malik Scott was supposed to provide a good test and answer a lot of questions. Didn't really do that because it ended so quick. So on to the next one. I want to see him fight a Tyson Fury, Bryant Jennings, somebody who's coming off of a good win. They're talking about Stavern versus Chris Arreola winner and Deontay Wilder. So that'll be a championship fight. These are the fights that he needs to take to really answer the questions that I mentioned earlier in this video. Let me know what you guys think of Deontay Wilder. Is he overrated? What do you think? As always, hate, comment, or subscribe. Till next video, it's Ego signing off.